In this video, I'm going to give you reasons why I think crop sensor cameras are better than full frame cameras. So hi guys, my name is Akindele-Nelly. I'm a photographer based in Lagos, Nigeria. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about crop sensor cameras and how I think that they're better than full frame cameras. As a vlogger, as a YouTuber, as somebody who uses camera on a daily basis, it will be a good idea for you to understand how your camera works and how to use it, and also how it impacts your images. When you take a picture, a light comes through a hole and it's recorded on a sensor. Back then, it wasn't a sensor, it was a film. A film is being used in a camera to record the subject or the object using light, which simply means a light comes through a hole and registers or records on a film. But nowadays we use digital cameras. So what replaces the film is the sensor. So a sensor is that surface that records your images using light that comes through a hole called the aperture, which is found in a lens. So based on size or surface area of the sensor, we have two types of sensors. One, the crop sensors. Two, the full frame sensor. A crop sensor camera have a particular kind of sensor that is cropped, which simply means that the images that are created in a crop sensor are not full images compared to a full frame camera, which simply means that there's a border that shades off or that blacks out some part of the images or some part of the image being created. Holding in my hand is a card that I have designed or that I have created to illustrate or to show you what a crop sensor is. If you're talking about a full frame sensor, which is likened to the 35mm film, this is the surface that is being used to create. So with this, it represents the 35mm film found in film cameras. But in crop sensor cameras, this is the part that allows light and that records light, which simply means this gray part of the sensor is being blocked out. So if you are creating using a crop sensor camera, only the white part is available for you to use. So I am going to give you 5 reasons why I think that the crop sensor camera is better than the full frame camera. 1, the crop sensor cameras are cheap. When you consider buying a camera as a newbie or as a YouTuber or as a vlogger, there's something on your mind, and that thing that's on your mind is you hope that the camera you're going to buy is cost effective. Yes. So at this point, I am saying or recommending that you should get a crop sensor camera. A crop sensor camera has so many advantages that would help a newbie or a YouTuber or a vlogger. 2, a crop sensor camera is lightweight. So if you are a YouTuber, an event photographer, a runway photographer, and weight means a lot to you, then you should consider getting a crop sensor camera because they will not break your back. 3, a crop sensor camera has a high FPS. When I say FPS simply means frame per second. A crop sensor with a high FPS helps you to create more images per second. So if you are a sport photographer, if you're a runway photographer, if you are a car race photographer, if you are a track and field photographer, also a wildlife photographer, you need to create more images per second because you're photographing objects or subjects that are in transit. So with a crop sensor camera, the tendencies of you getting your images are high. So you can get more images per second. So here with me is a crop sensor camera, and then we're going to listen out to how many images I can create per second, or how many frames I can get per second. Please listen. That's about 10 to 11 images, which simply means that as a sport photographer, as a wildlife photographer, as a car race photographer, you can get about 10 to 11 or about 12 frames per second. With that, you will photograph your subjects moving in transit from a point A to point B. 4. A crop sensor camera has fast focusing. Why do I say fast focusing is important? Imagine you are trying to create images of a car in motion. Imagine you're trying to photograph wildlife. Imagine you're trying to photograph a runway model who is moving down the runway. Speed is of essence to you. And also, you will need a camera that can focus fast so that you don't get blurred images. So, a crop sensor camera has fast focusing, and it will help you achieve your aim. So, I would say a crop sensor camera is good for situations like that. 5th reason why I think crop sensor cameras are better than full frame camera is the fact that they have a telephoto capability. When I say telephoto capability, what I mean is crop sensor cameras have a crop factor of about 1.5x. So which simply means if you put a 50 mm on a crop sensor, you're not going to get 50 mm. You're going to get more than that. You're going to get 75 mm because of the crop factor that crop sensor cameras have. So what that means to your photography is, if you are trying to photograph something or an object at a distance, if you slap a 50 mm on your crop sensor camera, it will give you 75 mm, which simply means it would move your view closer to the subject you're about to create, and to also help you to give you a tight crop to the subject you're about to create. So, I have listed 5 points why I think that crop sensor cameras are better than full frame cameras. Every camera that has been created has one disadvantage or the other, even the most expensive cameras. Disadvantages of a crop sensor camera. Number 1, crop sensor cameras don't do well in low light. For you to use a crop sensor camera, you need to be using them in an environment where you have abundance of light. Either you're using them in daylight or you're using them in a studio where you're controlling your light. With that, you would get a good image. Crop sensor cameras have a low ISO range. So when you're trying to create in low light, they don't do very well. So if you need to create using a crop sensor camera, you would need to shoot in an environment where you have a lot of light. Number 2, a crop sensor camera does not give you the shallowness in its depth of field, or a crop sensor camera does not give you that shallowness in its depth of field. For portrait photographers who depend on how lush their images are or how sweet their depth of field is, a crop sensor camera will not give you that. A crop sensor camera will give you an overall sharpness. So if you are a portrait photographer, I would suggest that you go for a full frame camera. So with all of these points that I've listed in this video, I hope you understand, and I hope I've been able to help you decide on what camera to start with. Please, if you have any question or any comment, please leave your questions and comments down in the comment section. If you have any question, please don't be afraid to leave your questions. I will attend to all of these questions. Till we meet again, please try and keep safe. I hope to make more videos to teach about photography and how camera works and how they impact your images. Take care.